Hey guys, it's Mike Monty, one half of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. And we want to reach out to all the fans out there who have supported our show to say thank you. Thank you for making 2021 one of our best years. And one of our best years was because of Anchor. Anchor, the way that you can have your voice heard. You can be just like us. Record your own podcast. Use the Anchor tools to edit your podcast. Use it on a phone. Use it on your computer. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all with Anchor, they're totally free. So be just like Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte the Pharaoh. We're looking together for a great 2022. We've got huge guests coming on board. Oh, yeah. You probably wonder why Jimmy's not here right now. Well, he's prepping for one of the best interviews we're about to have, and we're going to surprise someone with. So hang aboard with us, and don't forget, be like us and use Anchor.
Carell Brown did Missouri Central Championship Wrestling from 92 to the year 2000. Elizabeth Brown promoted in Cleveland, Ohio, the Masters of Mayhem since 1994. They also had some videotape series or something that I couldn't get any of my tapes off of. And then they got Kurt Brown, Los Angeles, California, ran the Great American Mat Endeavors from 1995 to 1996. And then Mike Brown, again, Masters of Mayhem, 1994. Patricia Brown ran out of Minnesota Western Wrestling Association in 1988. And then we got Paul Brown, who ran out of California West Coast Wrestling Association from 92 to 97. Hardcore. Okay. And then Steve Bryant ran out of Tennessee Hardcore Championship Wrestling from 96 to 98. And then Southern Tennessee Wrestling from 98 to 99. And then we got Donald Bucci. Donnie B from Toms River, New Jersey, running Phoenix Championship Wrestling from 2001 to 2003. And then we got King Kong Bundy, ran from 1981 to 2007 in Sewell, New Jersey. Devastation Wrestling Federation from 2004 to 2006. I thought that was Doc Diamond. Okay, Doc Diamond, right.
Yeah.
Then we got Tim Burke. Ran from 1991 to 2009 in Essex, Maryland, Mid-Eastern Wrestling Federation from 92 to 2004. And then we got Mike Burns, who ran out of Palo Alto, Pennsylvania, Future Wrestling Alliance from 98 to 2000. Al Berznicki ran out of Ohio, Capital City Wrestling in 99. And then we got Tom Byron, ran out of California, Extreme Pro Wrestling from 1999 to 2003. And then, of course, we got Eric Caden from California, who ran Incredibly Strange Wrestling, which was unbelievable in 95.
Yeah, I remember that.
See any of those tapes floating around. I got one of the first ones and started circulating me. Oh, yeah. And then we had Tim Calhoun out of North Carolina. With the National Wrestling Federation from 93 to 96. Tim Calhoun, National Wrestling Federation. Okay. And then we got Eric Cannon from 2001 shows from Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was the, what does that say? FR?
I guess it's a play on, first.
Okay. In 2000. Then we got Jeffrey Capo, who we just had on the show the other day. And he started in 1993 promoting shows until 2008. He's from York, Pennsylvania, and promoted for the American Commonwealth Wrestling promotion from 93 to 95. Then we got Cue Ball Carmichael, started promoting in 1983 in Virginia, the Independent Professional Wrestling Alliance, 1995 to 2001. And then we got Ken Carpenter from Tennessee, did Tri-State Wrestling from 98 to 99. And then we got Lynn Carpenter, who was doing Tennessee Tri-State Wrestling from 98 to 99 as well. And then we got Joey Carrier, who promoted Tennessee Championship Wrestling from 92 to 95. Let's see. And then we had Gino Caruso, someone we all know. He started in 1988 in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey, and he promotes East Coast Professional Wrestling from 1991. And Gino is still at it. And then we got Rico Casanova, who started in 1992 in South Carolina, running the Atlantic Wrestling Federation from 1994. And then we got Nick Castellani, 1993 promoter from Massachusetts, Coastal Pro Wrestling. Then we got Mike Cavanaugh, running from North Carolina, All-Star Championship Wrestling. That was from 92 and 93. And then we got Grant Chapman running in 92 and 93 out of Arizona in Inner West Wrestling Federation. Then we got Ed Chuman, running from 1940. Oh, no, he was born in. I was going to say, wow.
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
Streamwood, Illinois, he ran out of the NWA Midwest from 1998 to 2010. That's still a good run.
Yeah.
And then we got Jeff Cohen, who ran out of Indiana, Championship Wrestling of America in 1994. And Scott Cole from 1992 to 1994. He ran in California, Coast to Coast Wrestling Federation, Golden State Wrestling from 92 to 94. And then we got Bob Coley, who ran out of Virginia, Southern Wrestling Association from 91 to 94. We got Norm Connors, who's a familiar name. 1994 to 2009, he ran in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Steel City Wrestling from 94 to 2000, and International Wrestling Cartel 2001 to 2009. And we got Pat Connors, who ran Virginia, Continental Wrestling Alliance from 93 to 94. Sal Conti from 93 to 98 ran, Pennsylvania, United States Championship Wrestling from 93 to 98. Leroy Cook ran Arkansas American Wrestling Federation from 99 to 2000. Dennis Carluso.
There he is.
From technically 1989, but they say 1993 here. 1993 to 2001, Galaxy Wrestling Federation. 1993. No, it actually was Black and Blue Promotions with Larry Sharp. It was actually WWA is what it was called. And they also have NWA New Jersey from 1994 to 2001. Mark Carluso, his son, North Carolina, it's under here. NWA 2000, 1997 to 2001. Steve Carino, 1994, Limerick, Pennsylvania. He promoted 3K wrestling fighting athletes in 2008 and 2009. And that was also Missy Sampson. Jim Cornette had a show in 1982 to 2012 in Knoxville, Tennessee called Smoky Mountain Wrestling. 1992, 1995. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And then we got Corporal Punishment. Dan McDevitt ran from 1998 to 2003 and then 2003 to 2006. And from Maryland Championship Wrestling, 98 to 2006. And then we had Jeff Costa, ran in 1994 in New Hampshire, Ringside Wrestling, 1994 to 1996, and then World Independent Wrestling from 97 to 99. Wow. And then Count Grog. Count Grog is an amazing guy who we're going to get into in the manager's edition. Count Grog started running in 1981 in Raleigh, North Carolina under Southern Championship Wrestling, 1994 to 2004, and then Gouge, 2006. We're going to get into Count Grog because he is one of the most fascinating characters. And then we got Jeff Cowie from the Georgia area promoting Atlantic States Wrestling Federation from 92 to 96. And then we got Lewis Crane out of South Carolina promoting South Carolina Wrestling from 90 to 99. And then we got Steve Creasy running out of the Tennessee area, Tennessee Valley Wrestling Alliance from 1998. Wayne Kreiderman, he started running in Lima, Ohio in 1996, the Global Wrestling Alliance and the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance in 1999. A lot of people take that one.
Yeah.
Mark Cuccia ran in 99, also in Lima, Ohio, as Global Wrestling Alliance. And then we got John Curse from 1996 in New York, ran New York Wrestling Connection in 2002. And then we got
That's a cool place.
Dan Curtis, one of my favorite promoters, God rest his soul. He promoted in 1989, 1992, 1996, and 1998.
Wow.
In Warren, Michigan, MCW. I worked for Dan for a while. In Motor City Wrestling, 1989 and 1992, Championship Wrestling Federation, 1996 to 1997, and Northern States Wrestling Alliance from 1997 to 1998, Hellfire Wrestling in 1998, which is where he did his first show with the Insane Clown Posse before he started the Stranglemania series, and then unfortunately he passed away before the series began. So God rest his soul. And then we have Tom Casati from Tower City, Pennsylvania, with Galaxy Wrestling Federation from 1993. Okay, that explains Dennis was probably involved with some of Tom's shows then. Then we got B.A. Dalton, Wes Wilson from Mineral Wells, Texas, did Texas Outlaw Promotions from 1993 to 2003. Long run. We got Allison Danger, Kathy Carino, ran in 2000 in Illinois with Shimmer Women's Athletes in 2005. And we got Daryl Davis from Jacksonville, Florida, did the Pan American Championship Wrestling in 1999. And then we got Danny Davis, promoted from 1978 from Houston, Texas, AWU, and Louisville, Kentucky, Ohio Valley Wrestling, Associated Wrestlers of the Universe, 1992 to 94.
Wow, I remember that name.
And Ohio Valley Wrestling in 1997. Then we got Willie Paul Davis, promoted out of Columbia, Tennessee, with the National Wrestling Federation in 1998. And then Scott Decker was 93 and 94 from Connecticut, Renegade Wrestling Federation. We got Harry Dean, 97 and 99 from North Carolina with Global Championship Wrestling. And then we got Tommy D from 1992 to 1997 from Staten Island, New York with Universal Superstars of America. And then we got Rick Diesel, Dean Puckett, did a show in 92 in North Carolina under the American Independent Wrestling Federation, Allied Independent Wrestling Federation, 93. And then Rocco DLS did 1993 to 2005 in Rhode Island for the New England Wrestling Alliance. And then we have Tony Demiura, who promoted out in New York for the North American Wrestling Alliance from 92 to 99. Jimmy Dio, who started promoting in 1987 out of Leesport, Pennsylvania, and for Independent Wrestling Alliance from 1990. Blaine DeSantis, who ran from 1995 to 2001 in Reading, Pennsylvania, ran Pennsylvania Championship Wrestling. Okay. And then we come to one of our favorites, Carmine the Spirito.
Yeah.
Started promoting in 1993, actually in New Jersey, and then Milwaukee, Wisconsin to MAW, Brownsville, Texas, NWA, and Mid-American Wrestling from 1993 to 2007, and NWA Lucha Americanas in 2009. I actually worked, I was the first female in the first Hardcore Cup for for Carmine in Mid-American Wrestling. So that was pretty exciting. And
One
then
of the first people I worked for was Carmine and Mitch Seinfeld.
Yeah, a couple of great guys.
Yep.
And then we have Doc Diamond, who started promoting in 1983 in New Jersey as the World Wrestling Stars Alliance in 2004 and 2005, and Devastation Wrestling Federation in 2006. And then we got Johnny Diamond, who promoted in 1994 to 2012 in Cincinnati, Ohio, under Northern Wrestling Federation, at Dynamic Wrestling Alliance in 2008, and Classic Championship Wrestling in 2009, and also World Renowned Wrestling in 2012. And then we got Don Dibiase, who started in 96 and ended in 2008 in Louisiana with the Ultimate Wrestling Federation from 1996 to 2008. And then we got Dusty Dillinger from Lima, Ohio with the Global Wrestling Alliance from 2007 to 2008. Then Dave Dobashi, who ran out of Tacoma, Washington with the Universal Independent Wrestling from 1992 to 1993. Then Universal Independent Wrestling Alliance from 95 to 97. And Cascade Championship Wrestling from 1997 to 2001. Then we got Rodney Dobson out of Georgia, Atlantic States Wrestling Federation from 92 to 96. Shane Doerr from South Carolina ran Palmetto Championship Wrestling in 2015. And we got Shane Douglas, or Troy Martin, who ran, it says from 1982. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hardcore Homecoming in 2005, Extreme Rising 2012 and 2013, and Classic Wrestling Revolution in 2016. And we got Larry Doyle from Hollywood, California, California International Pro Wrestling from 94 to 98. And Rick Drazen from 1965 to 2001 from California with the American Wrestling Federation. Mike Duggar from Greenville, Tennessee, All Pro Wrestling from 1994 to 1998. Then we got Jesse Ellis from Tennessee with the United Atlantic Championship Wrestling. Terry England from Kentucky with the CWF, Ultimate Championship Wrestling, 97-98, and Central Wrestling Federation from 98 to 99. And then we got Vito Esparro, who ran in 2011 out of Connecticut, PGW, Power and Glory Wrestling. It says 2011 to 7 to 2011. So Paul Eubanks ran out of Arkansas, Southeast Championship Wrestling. And then we got Bob Evans down on the farm. He ran in 1991 in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and then in New Hampshire, Power League Wrestling in 1991 to 93, World Independent Wrestling from 97 to 99, and Eastern Pro Wrestling from 2005 to 2011. It's a long run. And then we
got these people in here that did a short amount of time. I'm not complaining. But you got Burke in there. And here we go right here. Force One Pro Wrestling. 6 years, established by Tommy Cairo and Phil Worley's based out of Egg Harbor City. And then if you got to take it to the next level, was Coastal, was another few years. So no big deal, but it's amazing.
It's possible we'll get to it. We haven't gotten through the whole list, so give it time. Next up, we got Johnny Evans, Jacksonville, Florida, Pan American Championship Wrestling, 1999. And again, Miami, Florida, National Wrestling Council, 1993 to 2009. Excalibur, 2000, it started in California, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
See, I thought Corluzzo had that Excalibur. Wasn't it Excalibur?
Yes, but that was back in the 80s. It was with Larry Sharp. He ran WWA, Excalibur, Black and Blue Promotions. It's all that. And then we got Eric Extreme from 1999, ran Massachusetts Wrestling Alliance of Mayhem, 1999 to 2006. Then we got Johnny Fabulous, ran in Massachusetts Millennium Wrestling Federation in 2007. Then we got Tony Falk, ran in 1983 in Kentucky, ASW, and Nashville, USWO, All-Star Wrestling, 1995 to 2002, and United States Wrestling Organization in 2002. Then we got Randall Fanning from Tennessee, Hardcore Championship Wrestling from 1996 to 1998, and Southern Tennessee Wrestling from 98 to 99. And then we got David K. Farmer from Texas, who ran Insane Hardcore Wrestling from 98 to 2003, and then again in 2008. And then we got Dan Farron, Hollywood, California, ran Hollywood Heavyweight Wrestling in 1990 and California International Pro Wrestling in 1994. And then we got Tommy Fierro, who started in 1993 in Philadelphia, NWC, Freehold Township, New Jersey, ISPW, which is where you got your Lifetime Achievement.
Right.
Northern Wrestling Council, 1994, and Independent Superstars of Pro Wrestling, 1999 to current, actually. 80s.
So I guess they didn't update it. Yeah.
80s wrestling con. So, okay. And then we got Joseph Fillers, who ran out of Tennessee, Southern Championship Wrestling, 95 to 98. Then we got Robert Fischer from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Wrestling Alliance, 98.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't. That's weird. Okay.
They could have won one show and been gone, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have known. I dealt with all the promoters in the area in the 90s. Yeah. Sean Fitzgerald we have from Pennsylvania also. Wrestling Federation 90 to 92. But Verona, Pennsylvania, it just wasn't close enough, perhaps. Yeah. Okay, and then we have Doug Flex, who ran from 1988 to 2004 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, under International Pro Wrestling. And then we have John Forsythe, who ran in Mississippi under International Wrestling Federation. And then we have got Jim Fox, who ran out of North Carolina under All Pro Championship Wrestling from 94 to 96. And then we got Eric Friedman, who ran out of Chicago North American Wrestling Federation in 1998. Fugati ran out of Kentucky Hardcore Championship Wrestling from 1996 to 2010. And then wow. And then Bobby Fulton ran from 1977 Heritage Championship Wrestling, 90 and 91, and Big Time Wrestling 92. And Dory Funk Jr. Started in 1963 in Ocala, Florida, and has done Championship International Wrestling Alliance since 1998. International Wrestling Stars and the Funk Conservatory in 1999. Angel Gabriel from Fort Wayne, Indiana, does Championship International Wrestling Alliance in 1998. Dale Gagner, 1996 to present, Rochester, Minnesota, Wrestling Superstars Live, 1996-2010, I guess was his last. Rick Garcia from Texas runs the Gulf Coast Championship Wrestling since 1994. Rick Garrett out of the Oklahoma area does Mid-South Wrestling Federation from 96 to 2002. Let's see, Mike Gaspara does Phoenix Southwestern Championship Wrestling from 1998. And then we got Steve Gatorwolf, who's been since 1978 in Arizona, the American Wrestling Federation, 1990 to 2000, and then 2006. Amazing. Then we got Robert Geary, another one I don't know. Oh,
Soul City
Wrestling. Okay, no, I know Soul City Wrestling, 1996 to 2000. And then we got Joel Gertner. I guess he promoted something in 1995 in Connecticut, MXW Pro Wrestling from 2004 to 2010. I didn't know Joel promoted shows.
I didn't know he promoted at all.
Right. And then we have Charles Gibb from California, California Championship Wrestling, 97 to 2001. Then Cialis Gibson, Universal Wrestling Federation, 92 to 93. Doesn't even say where it is. Tommy Gibson from West Virginia, Championship Pro Wrestling, 1998. Paulie Gilmore, 1994, from Massachusetts, does the New World Wrestling from 2003 to 2009. And then the New World Wrestling Extreme in 2009. And then we got...
I thought it was Donnie Allen. I said, well, wait a minute.
Not James E. Allen. And then we got Sheldon Goldberg, a friend from Massachusetts. It does New England Championship Wrestling from 2000 to 2010. Pretty sure he's been promoting earlier than the year 2000. Then we got Joel Goodheart, who started promoting in 1990 and stopped in 1992 from Philadelphia. The Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, before ECW was ECW, there was TWA.
Hey, Frankie.
Frank Goodman, yay. He started promoting in 1983 and is still in action. He started in Deer Park, New York, and is now in Orlando, Florida with U.S.A. Pro Wrestling. 94 to 2005, U.S.A. Extreme Wrestling, and then in 2005 to 2008.
Crown title holder, former champion right here.
And yes. And then we have Todd Gordon, 1992. He started promoting shows for Extreme Championship Wrestling, NWA Extreme Championship Wrestling to be exact, 92 to 96. And then did Pro Wrestling Unplugged in 2006 to 2008 with Trent Acid and some other people. And then we have Mitch Gould, from South Carolina, Atlantic Coast Championship Wrestling, 1992, American Championship Wrestling, 1993. And we got Michael Gowning from Tennessee, in New Age Wrestling Alliance in 1999. Michael
Grandizio.
All right, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. That's close to where I live here. All-American Wrestling, 97, 98. All right, I'm trying to figure out who that is. Then we got Mickey Grant, Dallas, Texas, ran World Class 2, The Next Generation in 1997. We got Lolly Griffin from Louisiana, South Championship Wrestling in 1996. Okay. Rodney Grimes from Mississippi, Championship Wrestling Association in 98. Tom, I'm going to try to get this right. Guy Ramadi. I don't know. He ran in Ohio, Intent Wrestling, Inc. in 1998. And then we got Bill Hagan in North Carolina. He did Great American Wrestling Federation from 95 to 97. And then we come to Mr. Randy Hales, who promoted shows from 1998 to 2001 in Memphis, Tennessee for Power Pro Wrestling. Also a big figure in the USWA. We have Sal Hamoa from Florida, who promoted Full Impact Pro in 2004, Evolve Wrestling in 2010. And then we move on to Larry Hamilton. 1989, he started in Florida doing Pan American Championship Wrestling. And then we have Sean Hansen from New Jersey, who promoted Women's Superstars Uncensored in 2007. And Al Hardiman, it's from 1992 to 2002, he promoted Florida Wrestling Federation in Winter Haven, Florida. And then we have Van Harden from Memphis, Tennessee, Kick-Ass Wrestling from 98 to 2000. Jeff Hardy promoted from 97 to 99 in North Carolina under Omega. I never heard of that either.
No, me either.
Matt Hardy also, same Omega. So they promoted the shows together.
Yeah. Jimmy
Hart started running in 1982 in Florida under Extreme Wrestling Federation in 2001 to 2005, and then WrestleLicious in 2010 to 2012. So, and then Gary Hathaway started promoting in 1990 in Vermont under New England Wrestling Federation, and that's 1990 to 2001. Jim Hawkins, 1997, was a West Virginia promoter. It ran under Atlantic Coast Championship Wrestling from 97 to 98, and Mason Dixon Wrestling from 98 to 99. And then we got Dave and Earl Hepner, started running in 1980 in Richmond, Virginia, UWF Live.
How did they get away with that?
Live. I don't know, but there they go. And we got Michael Heimberger from Virginia, West Virginia, Championship Pro Wrestling from 97 to 2003. And then we got Robert Heimberger, again, Virginia, Championship Pro Wrestling, 2000. All right, then Paul Helms. He promoted from 1983 to 2007 in South Carolina, Southern Championship Wrestling, 95 to 2017. And we got Ed Hellier. He promoted in Minnesota, St. Paul Championship Wrestling from 1998 to and Steel Domain Wrestling in 2001. And then we got David Harrow, who promoted in 1997 in Wisconsin under Great Lakes Championship Wrestling. And then Paul Heyman, who promoted from 1987 to 2006 in Philadelphia, Extreme Championship Wrestling 1992 to 2001. Steve Hicks, who promoted in 1998 in the state of Alabama, and World Organization of Wrestling 1998. Christopher Hill was a promoter from 2003 to 2008 in Buffalo, New York. Ballpark Brawl. Never heard of that either.
No.
Calvin Hodge was from Pulaski, Virginia. It promoted Independent International Wrestling Association from 96 to 97. Tim Horner promoted some shows in 1978 in Johnsonville, Tennessee. Johnson City, Tennessee, National Championship Wrestling, 1994. And let me see. Pro Wrestling International. Where am I?
PW, I remember that.
Yeah, okay. Pro Wrestling International and Extreme Mid-South Wrestling from 93 to 97. All right.
Or maybe it just sounds familiar.
No, that's John Horton. I'm sorry. John Horton promoted from 92 to 97. Extreme Mid-South Wrestling from 93 to 97.
Okay.
And then we got Tom Howard, who promoted from 1994 to 2006 in Michigan. International Wrestling Organization was from 1998 to 2001. Then we got Henry Hubbard, who promoted in St. Louis, Missouri, Missouri Wrestling Federation, Midwest Wrestling Federation, International Championship Wrestling from 1992 to 1995. Then we got Dwayne Huckabee, promoted shows in Arkansas under American Championship Wrestling in 1999. Kevin Hughes from 97 and 99. He promoted shows in New Hampshire under World Independent Wrestling. And then Robin Hunt promoted out of New York with the United States Wrestling Federation from 95 to 2000. Then we got DJ Hyde promoted from the year 2000 in Philadelphia, Combat Zone Wrestling. Let's see. Yeah, Combat Zone Wrestling. Then we got Frank Avelia, who promoted from 1992 in Rahway, New Jersey, of Northern States Wrestling Alliance, 1995, and Jersey All Pro Wrestling. Frank originally worked. He started for my TCW promotion. He was, there, and he took a lot of my guys when I closed down TCW over to his promotion, so that they had somewhere to go. So, rest in peace, Frank. Then we move on to Austin Idol, promoted in 1992 and 93 in Alabama, as USA Pro Wrestling. USA Wrestling. Just USA Wrestling.
Yeah.
And then we got Mike Imbergia, who ran in Ohio as Real Deal Pro Wrestling in 1997. David Jackson, who ran in 1992 in Rhode Island under New England Wrestling Alliance, 92 to 2005. Then we got Johnny Jackson, who ran in Florida, the Central Florida Wrestling in 1994. Bo James ran it from 1989 in Tennessee, Southern States Wrestling in 91. Yeah, I've heard of him. And then Dallas James, who was Don Parker, ran from 93 to 98 in Indiana under Midwestern Wrestling Alliance in 93 and 94 and Pro Wrestling International in 95 and 98. Jamie Jamitowski ran Massachusetts Chaotic Wrestling in 2000. Alan Jarrigan ran in Tennessee Northeast Championship Wrestling in 95 and Appalachian Mountain Wrestlings in 1998 and 1999. And then we got Nick Jarman ran in 98 and 2000 in Jacksonville, Florida at Thunder Wrestling Federation. And then we got Wesley Jenkins ran in Mississippi. South's Greatest Wrestling Fans 98 and 99 in NWA, Mississippi. Then we got Jason Jerry in 2005, Green Bay, Wisconsin, NWA, Wisconsin, 2005. Mark Johnson, 1995, ran Massachusetts Wrestling Association. And Rocky Johnson ran from 1965 to 2003 in Tampa, Florida. Caribbean Championship Wrestling. Wow. And then we got Barry Jones. Let's see. He ran in Oklahoma Maximum Championship Wrestling from 96 to 97. And then Leslie Jones also ran Mississippi International Wrestling Federation in 1998. Tom Jones ran in Oklahoma Power Zone Wrestling Alliance 1994 to 1997, Mid-South Wrestling Federation from 1998 to 2002. And then we got Stan Payne is a familiar name. He ran in 1991, 2008, and 2011. He's from Chicago, and he runs the Evolution Championship Pro Wrestling from 2004 and Real Good Wrestling from 2007. Chuck Justice, it runs from North Carolina in the Southeastern Wrestling Alliance 1989 and Southeastern Wrestling Alliance 91 to 97. Then we got Ivan Karofi. 1997, he ran Portland, Oregon, not successfully as others. Then we got Jeff Karofi, also Portland, Oregon in 1997. And Johnny Cashmere in 1999, Philadelphia Pro Wrestling Unplugged, 2006 to 2010, which was where Todd Gordon was also a part of that. Yep. Then we got Spanky Keene from North Carolina Global Championship Wrestling, 97 to 99. And then we got Mike Kelly from Michigan, the Great Lakes Wrestling, 96 to 2003. And then we got, let's see, Jake Kemmer, 1990 to 2009, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Eastern Wrestling Federation, 98 to 2001, and Hardway Wrestling, 2001 to 2006.
Never heard of him.
Me neither. Sam Kent ran out of Georgia, North Georgia Wrestling Association from 92 to 97. And then we got Jim Kentner. He ran from 1967 to 2010 in Newark, Delaware, East Coast Wrestling Association from 67 to 2010, still around. Gary Kay ran, I guess, in 1963, California, Impact Wrestling Federation from 1998 to 1999. Scott King, Portland, Maine, Eastern Wrestling Alliance, the year 2000. Kevin Kleinrock, 1999, Los Angeles Wrestling Society X from 2006 to 2007. Calvin Knapp from Texas ran Extreme Pro Wrestling from 98 to 99.
Good worker.
Roger Knapp also ran North Carolina National Wrestling Federation from 1993 to 1997. Alex Knight ran 1962 Los Angeles American Independent Wrestling Alliance from 90 to 98. And then Jason Knight, go ahead, make your noise. Exactly. 1977, it says he didn't start promoting shows in 1977. No. He did tell a story about everything.
Yeah, what is that about?
Waterbury, Connecticut, Assault Championship Wrestling from 2001 to 2004. Now that sounds about accurate.
That's the first time I ever called a promoter and says I wasn't going to make it. I hadn't worked in a while. My wife wanted me to quit. She said, please don't go. I called him. I said, I can't make it. He was pissed off, but that was it.
He should have understood. He's very...
You would think so, right?
Then we got Kevin Knight, 1996 debut from New Jersey, Independent Wrestling Federation from 2001 to 2004. He also had a school where he trained quite a few people. Then we got Rick Knopp in Jacksonville, Florida, from Insane Wrestling Alliance from 1996. Michael Kraus, 1999, from Wisconsin, All-Star Championship Wrestling from 99 to 2001, and Mercury One Wrestling. Barry Koloff did something in Hazel Green, Alabama in 2016 for Rocket City Championship Wrestling. Then we got Tom LaBarge in Allentown, Pennsylvania, World Extreme Wrestling. Brad Leiber in 1996, Cincinnati, Ohio, Heartland Wrestling Association. We got Joe LaChance, 1999, Connecticut, CCW and PGW, running under Connecticut Championship Wrestling and Power and Glory in 2007 to 2011. Ben Lagerstrom ran in New Jersey, North Wrestling, 1995 to 1998.
Wow.
Tom
Gino Caruso would have a problem with that.
Right. Tom Lance from Texas ran Superstars of Wrestling from 1998 to 2001. And then we got, let me see, Terry Landell ran in 1972 Knoxville, Tennessee Mountain Wrestling, also in 2001. Vern Langdon, 1998, Studio City, California, Slammers Wrestling Federation, 86 to 98. Jeff Lane, Logan, West Virginia, ran World Professional Wrestling from 99 to 2003. It says here 99. Yeah. All right. Gary Langdon from 96 to 2003. Vermont was his territory with Green Mountain Wrestling, 96 to 2003.
Legs Langevin.
Okay, good enough. Thomas Lapierre from Michigan ran Championship Wrestling Federation from 96 to 97. And then we got Chris Lash, who ran the Commodore, again, Pennsylvania Allied Powers Wrestling Federation from 98 to 2001. I recognize those names.
I recognize the name of the group, but I don't recognize the people.
Right. Then we got Larry Latham from 98 to 2003 in Arkansas, Moondog Championship Wrestling. So I guess we know who that is. Yeah. The LaFonce Latham is running out of Arkansas, Moondog Wrestling again. So a Carl Lauer from, let's see, Missouri area, running World League Wrestling in 1999. Then we got Brian Latham out of New York, Eastern States Wrestling and Eastern Shores Wrestling from 94 to 98.
That was Lou Reardon's group. I wonder why.
Right. So, and then we got Johnny Legend out of Hollywood, California, who did HHW and ISW out of San Francisco, Hollywood Heavyweight Wrestling 1990, and Incredibly Strange Wrestling in 1995. I actually had those guys on a Rock and Wrestling show, Rule Breakers Rule, Confederacy of Scum Super Show in 1996 for TCW. Yeah, that's all over now. And then we have Rick Liberis, started in 1986 in Texas for Texas Championship Wrestling in 1996 to 2000. JT Lightning, who I've worked for many years. He started in 1993 to 2011 in Cleveland, Ohio for Cleveland All Pro Wrestling 93 to 97. Mark Little was out of Tennessee and ran American Wrestling Federation from 97 to 98. And then we got Scott Little also from Illinois, running Independent Championship Wrestling from 96 to 98. And Bobby Lombardi running Long Island, New York Wrestling Federation from 97 to 2002. And then we got Josh Lomberger from Indiana running Tri-Town Championship Wrestling in 1998. Rudy Lomberger from Indiana running Tri-Town Championship Wrestling in 1998. Let's see, Scott Lost ran in 2001 in Los Angeles, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in 2003, and Pro Wrestling International in 1998. Jose Lothario started in 1956, ended in 1999, San Antonio, Texas Wrestling Alliance in 1998. And then we got Jonathan Lovestruck from Red Lion, Pennsylvania, ran the National Championship Wrestling from 1997 to 2009. I don't know some of these people. I really don't. Then we got Brian Lyle from LaSalle, Illinois, Powerhouse Championship Wrestling from 93 to 2000. Tim Lyle, again, Powerhouse Championship Wrestling. Billy Mack, Tampa, Florida, International Championship Wrestling Associates from 91 to 94. Madman Pondo, from 1989, Dunbar, West Virginia. He runs IWA East Coast 2004 and also runs a current women's wrestling promotion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where for years now, and I don't know why that's not listed there. And Ian Rotten's not listed for IWA. Yeah. Strange stuff. And then we have Pete Mcguire from Tulsa, Oklahoma, Maximum Championship Wrestling in 1996, and then Oklahoma Pro from 1997 to the year 2000. We have Brian Mollett in 2007, Portland, Maine, Eastern Wrestling Alliance 2000. And then Major Massacre, Chris Brown from Ohio to Wrestling Group International 1993 to 98, and Superstar Wrestling Federation from 98 to 2011. Jordan Schneider from New York runs Family Wrestling Entertainment from 2010. Earl Magrum runs from Missouri Interstate Wrestling Alliance since 1999. Neil Manolin runs Massachusetts Millennium Wrestling Federation from 2001. Eddie Mansfield ran Ohio International Wrestling Federation from 91 to 93. And then we got Johnny Mantell ran Louisiana Southern Championship Wrestling in 1996. Jason Maples from 1990 to 2010 ran Indiana Extreme Wrestling Federation. Long time. Richard Marchand, Philadelphia Soul City Wrestling. Okay, got it. Martin, California World Power Wrestling in 1997. Doc Marley ran 98 to 2000 in California. Yeah, United Independent Wrestling Alliance from 98 to 2000. Then we got David Marquez from Missouri, Los Angeles, NWA, and Hollywood, NWA, CWH, World League Wrestling from 97 and 98, NWA Pro from 2003 to 2010, and NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, 2011. It's a good resume.
Art Marshall, trying to create almost like a little network again with it.
Right. You know? And we got Art Marshall from Warren, Michigan, Championship Wrestling Federation from 96 to 97, and then Northern States Wrestling Alliance from 97 to 98. Then we got Rick Martello, who ran from 94 to 96 in Massachusetts, New England Pro Wrestling. And then David Martin, who ran in Tennessee International Wrestling Organization from 1994, and Jerry Martin from North Carolina ran Mainstream Wrestling Organization from 1997 to 1998. Steve Martin, and not the actor, ran Georgia NCW National Championship Wrestling from 1997 to 1999. T.C. Martin ran Vegas National Wrestling Council from 94 to 95. Tony Martinelli ran Louisiana Cajun Wrestling Federation from 1997 to 2009. And Kent must not be a lot of competition.
No.
Then Ken Massey ran Mississippi Mid-South Wrestling Federation in 1991. Ben Masters ran, Georgia Peach State Wrestling from 91 to 96. Joe Matarazzo, Providence, Rhode Island, Mayhem Independent Wrestling from 1998 to 2000. And then John McAdam, 1992, ran in New Hampshire Universal Championship Wrestling. I knew John.
Did you?
Yes. Daniel McClung, ran from Virginia, 5-Star Wrestling, 1998 and 1999. And then we got Andy McDaniel from South Carolina, who ran Low Country Wrestling 1998, American Class Wrestling in 1999. And then we got Ryan McGonigal, who ran in California United Independent Wrestling Alliance in 1999. J.D. McKay running in Mississippi, Ringside Riot Promotions in 1991. Scott McKeever, who ran West Virginia Wrestling 1992 to 1994. Danny McLean ran Mississippi in South's Greatest Wrestling Fans from 98 to 99, and then NWA Mississippi. Then Bob Meister ran from 95 to 97 in Dallas, Texas with the Confederate Wrestling Association and the Continental Wrestling Alliance. Then we got Bill Mercer, ran from 1953, 1959, 1976 to 1997 in Dallas, World Class II and the Next Generation. Cody Michaels ran in 1986 in Los Angeles under Wrestling Society X. Shawn Michaels ran from 1984 to 2010 in San Antonio, Texas. Wow, that's got to be wrong. Texas Wrestling Alliance. Okay, Texas Wrestling Alliance from 1998 to 2001. So 1998 technically.
Yeah.
David Milan ran Philadelphia Women's Extreme Wrestling. Okay, I work for them as well. Gene Miller, 1997 to 2002, ran Monroe, Michigan, SMCW, Charlotte, Michigan, NWA, and Starling Heights, Michigan, NWA. I don't know what that means.
Where is it?
So I don't know.
Okay.
Southern Michigan Championship Wrestling 97-98, NWA Michigan 98 to 2000, and NWA Great Lakes Michigan 2000 and 2002. And then we got Grant Miller, who ran Los Angeles Great American Mat Endeavors from 95 to 96. Jim Miller, who ran in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, NWA East Pro Wrestling Express in 1994. I know.
Never heard of him. You know them?
Oh, no, I know Jim. Gentleman
Oh,
Jim. Yeah, he more recently passed away.
Oh, really?
And then we got David McAllen from Tennessee, American Wrestling Alliance from 95 to 96. Alvin Minnick from Tennessee, Warriors of Wrestling, 97 and 98, and then NWA Mid-South, 99 to 2001. Dan Murad started in 1990 in Massachusetts for Millennium Wrestling Federation, 2001. And then we got Pete Marlagolta from Ohio, Midwest Championship Wrestling Alliance from 94 to 97. We had Jeff Molinod from Tennessee, American Wrestling Federation, 97 and 98. Malcolm Monroe, 1980 to 2004, from Midwest Championship Wrestling, 1995, Insane Championship Wrestling, 1996 to 2000, and Extreme Intense Championship Wrestling, 2000 to 2004, out of Warren, Michigan. And then Malcolm Monroe Jr. Started in 1996, all of the same. So junior and senior. And then we have George Morales from Indiana, United Wrestling Federation, 94 to 98. Rip Morrison, 97 to 99. He ran in New Hampshire World Independent Wrestling, 97 to 99. And then Mark Morton ran 93 to 98, New Hampshire area World Independent Wrestling. And then Don Morocco, ran in 1976 in Honolulu, Hawaii Championship Wrestling. Actually, it still runs from 2003 to 2008.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we'll have Jeff Miller tell us about that.
Yeah.
And then we got Bob Murphy, Humble, Texas, Texas All-Star Wrestling. That's from 1994. And then Steve Murphy from Missouri runs Mississippi Valley Wrestling Association from 97 and 98. And then we got Jerome Muse from Tennessee, All-State Wrestling. He ran from 93 to 96. Let's see. Donnie Myers ran Northern Vermont and Southern Quebec Eastern Township Wrestling Association in 92. Jason Nash ran from 99 to 2001 in Texas Wrestling Association. And Jim Neidhart, 79 to 2006. He ran Anvil Promotions in 93 and 94. Steve Nielsen ran in Utah, Ultra Championship Wrestling 0. And then we have Ron Nemi, who started running in 1991 in Davie, Florida, Independent Professional Wrestling 1998 to 2003. Bob Netties ran Virginia Southern Wrestling Association 91 to 94. Kurt Nile ran Michigan MCW Motor City from 89 to 91. Greg Oakes ran Georgia Atlantic States Wrestling Federation from 92 to 96. And then let's see, Bo Oates ran from 93 to 97. Georgia Wrestling Alliance. Ted Oates, also 70 to 2010, ran Columbus, Georgia with the Georgia Wrestling Alliance. 96 to 99, and then World Wrestling Coalition from 90. Oh, no, that's someone else. Sorry.
You know who that is, right?
Carlina O'Brien in 95 to 2000, ran in New Jersey, WWC, Ocean City, Maryland, APWA, Staten Island, and New York, RCW, NWA New York, which was World Wrestling Coalition 95 to 96, Action Packed Wrestling Alliance 96 to 98, and then Richmond Championship Wrestling 98, NWA New York 98 to 2000.
Yeah, I held like 4 belts at one time. That guy was It was
amazing.
Not good to deal with that guy, though. Let me tell you.
Oh, well, but you were the champion, so that's what matters.
Yes, it's fine.
So, and then we got Mike O'Brien from New York, ran Northeast Wrestling from 94 to 98. NWA Northeast from 98 to 2000, and Northeast Wrestling in the year 2000. Rich O'Brien, 95 to 2000, ran WWC, APWA in Ocean City, Maryland, New York, Staten Island, New Jersey, World Wrestling Coalition, 95-96, Action Pack Wrestling, 96-97, 98, and Richmond Championship Wrestling, 98, NWA New York. Steve O'Neill, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Extreme Rising, 2013 to 2015. And then we got Ben Oliver, 1998 to 2007, running out of Missouri, Midwest Renegade Wrestling, 1998 to 1999, and Gateway Championship Wrestling, 2000 to 2007. And then we got Satoshi Oji, ran in Philadelphia. They ran Dragon Gate, U.S.A. in 2009. And then we got Paul Olsek Sr. in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, running Eastern Wrestling Federation from 98 to 2001 and Hardway Wrestling from 2001 to 2006. And Junior. Okay. And then we got Bob Orton Jr., who ran in 1972, Knoxville, Tennessee Mountain Wrestling, again in 2001. And then we got Jeff Osborne, from Evansville, Indiana, running New American Wrestling from 93 to 95. Michael Paolini from 98 to 2007. He ran Connecticut Championship Wrestling. And then we move on to Jeff Patton from 90. Let me see. He ran in North Carolina, Burke County Wrestling from 93 to 94, and New World Wrestling from 94 to 95. Then we got Mark Pennington, ran in 2004 in Michigan under Price of Glory Wrestling. 2004, Jose Perez ran in 2011 in Massachusetts under Full Spectrum Wrestling. Joe Perry, that was Gentleman Joe Perry, sorry. And that's the one I was thinking of. He ran in Pennsylvania under Tri-State Wrestling Federation from 90 to 92. And then there was Mike Persolina from 98 to 2003. He ran in Davie, Florida, Independent Professional Wrestling, and 98 to 2003. Bud Petty from Tennessee ran Hardcore Championship Wrestling from 96 to 98. Chris Piano ran in North Carolina, New Dimension Wrestling from 97 to 2005. Steve Pavadik ran from 90 to 2005 in West Virginia for American International Wrestling, 1989. World Professional Wrestling from 1990 to 2005. Oh. And then we got Dan Polinski ran in Pittsburgh, Far North Wrestling from 2003 to 2011. Chris Pope ran from 92 to 94 in California, Coast to Coast Wrestling Federation, and Golden State Wrestling from 92 to 94. Ron Post ran in 96 in the Jersey Shore, Empire Wrestling Association 96, and Empire Wrestling Alliance in 97. Brian Powell ran High Point, North Carolina, Atlantic Championship Wrestling and Alternative Championship Wrestling from 1994 to 2004. William Powell from Wisconsin ran Badger State Pro Wrestling from 1996 to 2003. Scott Pratt, 1998 and 1999, ran North Carolina Southern Wrestling Alliance. And Dave Prazak, one of my other boys originally, ran from 1996. Berwyn, Illinois, is Shimmer Women's Athletes from 2005 to current.
Great
also
name.
GCW. Yes, it is. Burt Prentice ran from 1984 to 2021 in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, MSCW, Dallas, Texas, CWT, and Memphis, Tennessee, MCW, and NWA. Championship Wrestling from Texas, 1992. Music City Wrestling in 1992, 1997, 1998. NWA Worldwide, 1998 and 2002. Greg Price from Charlotte, North Carolina. So Carolina's Championship Wrestling in 91, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling 91 and 92, and All-Star Wrestling 93 to 98, and NWA All-Star Wrestling 98 and 99. NWA Carolinas 99, and NWA New Beginnings in 2010. Then we got Jim Princeton Tiptonville, Tennessee, Warriors of Wrestling, 1997 and 1999, and NWA Mid-South, 1999 to 2001. And we got Mike Quackenbush, Philadelphia, Chikira, 2002. It says he started in 1994. I don't know about that. And then we got Harley Race ran, Missouri World League Wrestling in 1999. 1960 to 2009. It's got some weird dates here. Dave Ronham ran Texas, the Great South Wrestling Federation in 1998. Pharrell Raines ran Tennessee and Iron Ring Wrestling 98 to 2011. John Rambo ran Hagerstown, Maryland, House of Pain Wrestling from 1997. Steve Ran ran 2000 to 2003 in Portland, Maine for Eastern Wrestling Alliance, 2000 to 2003. T. Ranchula, Far North Wrestling he promoted in Maine. I'm sorry, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, T. Ranchula, 2003 to 2011. Wow. Mike Rapuno, 1990, 2003, and 2011 seems he promoted in Miami, Florida, and Davie, Florida, AWC and FOW, Atlantic Wrestling Council, 90 to 94, and Future Wrestling, 98, 2003, and 2011. Wow. So we got Vincent Ratt, 98 to 2001, Unified Championship Wrestling. Oh, and then we got Lou Reardon.
Yeah.
1994, Deer Park, New York, Eastern States Wrestling, Eastern Shores Wrestling, 1994.
Yes, excellent.
Great. Then we got Reckless Youth, another one of my original TCW boys. Says he promoted Shakira in 2002 in Philadelphia. Frank Reed, 1987, Hannibal, Missouri. He promoted CSWA and Illinois RCW, Missouri State Wrestling Alliance, 1992, and Central States Wrestling Alliance, 1993 and 1998. Also, Rampage Championship Wrestling in 1999 and 2009. We got Frankie Reyes, very well known in Florida wrestling. He promoted Southeast Professional Wrestling Federation from 1996 to 1998. Cody Rhodes from 1985. It says here he promoted it All Elite Wrestling. 2018. Tony Khan, also 2018, promoting for all AEW Wrestling. J.R. Rhodes, Jacksonville, Florida, Insane Wrestling Alliance, from 1996. Steve Ricard, 2000, New Bedford Top Rope Promotions, 2000. Randy Ricky, promoting in Illinois North American Wrestling Federation. Davey Richards, promoting in Broadway, New Jersey, Evolve Wrestling, 2010. Reno.
I didn't know that was his.
Yeah, I didn't either. Reno Riggins, promoted in Tennessee, Spectrum Sports, 1993. Ron Rivera, promoted as City of Industry, California, Revolution Pro Wrestling from 99 to 2004. Chuck Roberts did Pittsburgh International Wrestling Cartel in 2001. Rusty Roberts did Morristown, Tennessee, United Atlantic Championship Wrestling from 94 to 98. And then Chaz Rocco was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, American Championship Wrestling from 93 to 99. Gino Rocco, also Washington, Pennsylvania, All-Star Wrestling Association from 91 to 93. Mike Rogers, St. Louis, Missouri, Midwest Renegade Wrestling, Impact Championship Wrestling, year 2000. Let me see, Chris Rose.
There's Ian.
American Championship Wrestling. Okay, there we go. Ian Rotten, Louisville, Kentucky, IWA Mid-South 1996. And then we got Roger Ruffin, NWF 98, Anthony Ruffo, Unified Championship Wrestling and Ultimate Championship Wrestling and Full Spectrum Wrestling, Hugh Rundles, Warriors of Wrestling and NWA Mid-South, Andy Runyon, Wrestling Group International and Superstars of Wrestling Federation, Rob Russin out of Philadelphia, NAWF and NWF in Girard, Ohio, North American Wrestling Federation from 79 to 84, and then National Wrestling Federation 85 to 88, and International Wrestling Association 89 to 95. Joey Ryan, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Candy Ryan, Fantasy Pro Wrestling Federation 92 to 94 out of North Carolina. Gary Sandbog out of North Carolina, Professional Wrestling Federation 90 to 99. Hermie Sadler, let's see, out of Richmond, Virginia, UWF Live. Fred Salem out of Virginia did All-Star Championship Wrestling from 96 to 98. Mike Samples doing Central Kentucky. That's where I got my two wrestling rings from.
Yeah, he's great.
Central City, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, CCW, and Evansville, Indiana. Tri-State Wrestling, 91 to 93. Circle City Wrestling, 96 to 97. And Hardcore Wrestling Federation, 97 to 99. Chris Sanders was from Rhode Island, did Rhode Island Wrestling Alliance from 95 to 2004. Tito Santana promoted some shows in Chicago under American Wrestling Federation
I remember that, yeah.
95 to 96. Clara Santini did shows out of Tennessee, Universal Wrestling Alliance from 1998, New Age Wrestling Alliance from 1999. Then we got Gabe Soplowski, 1995 out of Philadelphia, did Dragon Gate USA in 2009, Evolve Wrestling and in 2010, and I guess they're not going to give him any credit for Ring of Honor. So right? Bruto Sassy, let's see, he ran out of Florida, Coastal Championship Wrestling 2004. Peter Savage ran out of California, Golden State Wrestling Alliance from 98 to 99. Let's see, Savannah Slim ran out of Ohio, National Wrestling Conference from 93 to 98. Then the Jordan Schneider ran out of New York, Family Wrestling Entertainment, 2010. Kurt Schneider ran from 89 to 2009, Motor City Wrestling. Leo Schneider ran Missouri Central States Wrestling Alliance in 1993. And it also, it says Maryland Championship Wrestling, 1998 to 2003. Okay. Oh, the Leo Schneider and the other one's Mark Schrader. Sorry about that. Gordon Skazi ran Asbury Park, New Jersey. Asbury Park, New Jersey. So possibly American Wrestling Federation, 91 to 92. And then we got Bobby Sechrist in North Carolina, Virginia, Carolina Wrestling. Shaggy Two Dope, 1999, Detroit, Michigan, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, who I also worked for. I was the first juggalette. Yes, in wrestling. And then we have Joshua Shea, 2000 to 2001 from Portland, Maine, running Eastern Wrestling Alliance. And John Short, running from New Jersey, Force One Pro Wrestling.
That's my group I gave him.
Okay. So there you go. We got to you. Bernie Siegel, from Florida, ran Sunshine Wrestling Federation from 91 to 98, and then Florida Championship Wrestling from 94 to 2001. Then we got Carrie Silken from Bristol, Pennsylvania, Ring of Honor. Thomas Simpson, North Carolina, Omega Wrestling. Sir Mo ran in Tennessee under New Blood Wrestling from 2006 to 2009. Larry Skipper ran in North Carolina Eastern Wrestling Federation from 97 to 2003. Then we got Bill Sladen ran in Indiana New Wave Wrestling Association. And Richard Small ran Pacific Wrestling in 1995. Brian Smith ran in Tennessee at Appalachian Mountain Wrestling 98 and 99. Robert Smith, London, Kentucky, Die Hard Championship Wrestling, 98 and 99. And then we got Tyson Smith ran in Virginia Championship Pro Wrestling in 98. Al Snow ran 1993 to 1998 in Lima, Ohio, Global Wrestling Alliance, 1993 to 99, and Ohio Valley Wrestling in 2018. George South ran Professional Wrestling Federation 1990 to 99, and Exodus Wrestling Alliance in 2001 in North Carolina. Fred Sparta ran Massachusetts World Wrestling Stars in 1996. Mike Sparta ran World Wrestling Stars also in 1996 with Don Sparta, who ran in Indiana Ringside Wrestling Alliance 1994 to 1999. Actually, they're all different people. AJ Sparks ran in Woodland Park, New Jersey.
I have no idea.
New Jack City Wrestling. I worked for
Okay.
95, 96, American Wrestling Council, 97, 98, and Independent Wrestling Federation, 98. There were also some guys who took my TCW guys when I closed. So James St. Jean, 97 to 2000, Lewiston, Maine, Eastern Wrestling Alliance. Let's see. Then David St. Ong, CWF, Michigan. Let's see, Championship Wrestling Federation, 1996, 1997, Michigan Wrestling Alliance from 97 to 2000. Bob Staples, 97 and 99, ran Eastern Wrestling Alliance. Preston Steele in 83 ran International Wrestling Association in Ohio. Ken Stubbs ran West Virginia Ultimate Championship Wrestling from 95 to 97. Corey Stevens ran Limerick, Pennsylvania 3K Wrestling Fighting Athletes from 2008 to 2009.
Okay.
Gary Stevens ran Edison, New Jersey Bloody Rage American Wrestling League 98 to 2003. Then we got Paul Stevens from Arizona Combat Championship Wrestling in 98 and Dragon's Den in 98 to 2000. Johnny Stewart at Wisconsin Wrestling Superstars Live from 96 to 2010. Wow. Really? Okay. Bill Stone from Mississippi, Heroes of Wrestling 1999. Curtis Stone, Warrior for Christ Wrestling 1999. Matt Storm in Rhode Island, Mayhem Independence Wrestling 98 to 2000, PWF Northeastern 2002 to 2006 and 2010. Kylie Storm ran in Rhode Island, Mayhem Independent Pro Wrestling and PWF Northeastern from 2002 to 2010. Larry Strickland from West Virginia ran Globe Star Pro Wrestling from 94 to 98. Sage Strong ran Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Ultimate Wrestling Experience in 2011. Gary Struvard ran Texas Big D Wrestling from 92 to 94. Super Dragon ran in Los Angeles Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in 2003. Frank Zabo ran Butler, Pennsylvania, United States Wrestling League from 1993 to 1998. Jeff Tankersley ran Tennessee Iron Ring Wrestling from 98 to 2011. Mike Tartaglia runs Sewell, New Jersey, still at Tri-State Wrestling Alliance 1998, yes. And then we have Sean Tosco running Tampa, Florida, New Breed Pro Wrestling from 98 to 2004. Ken Taylor from Dallas, Texas, running NWA Southwest 98 to 2011. Trent Taylor running California United Independent Wrestling Alliance from 99 to 2001. Les Thatcher running Cincinnati, Ohio Heartland Wrestling Association from 1996. Dave Thomas running, New Jersey United Wrestling Coalition 1998. Lewis Thomas running also New Jersey United Wrestling Coalition 1998. And then we have Gene Thompson in Tennessee running Southern Wrestling Association from 92 to 98. Mike Thompson from Wisconsin running Badger State Pro Wrestling from 96 to 2003. John Thundercloud running out of North Carolina Atlantic States Championship Wrestling from 1998 and Central Carolina Pro Wrestling from 98 to 2000. Then we move on to Frank Thurman, who ran out of Illinois Midwest Wrestling in 1997. James Thurston, who ran out of North Carolina in World Wrestling Organization in 98 to 2001. Chris Tibbs, running out of Virginia, the Mid-Eastern Championship Wrestling 95 to 97 and Wild Independent Wrestling Federation 95 to 96 and Regional Championship Wrestling. And then we got Ray Torres running out of Reading, Pennsylvania. Regional Championship Wrestling. Baron Van Gore Toff running out of Connecticut Championship Wrestling, 1998 and 99. Dave Touchstone, running out of California Golden State Wrestling Alliance, 98, and Pacific Wrestling, 2000. Brian Trammell out of Mississippi, Ringside Riot Promotions. He ran in 1991. And Alfredo Travisto Jr. ran Rhode Island Wrestling Alliance, 1995 to 2004. Triple H ran in Orlando, Florida, in a next show, 2012. So Emily Torres, New York City Ultimate Championship Wrestling.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we worked for them, right?
So that was, I guess, his wife.
Yes, Emily. Yes, she hated my guts. And then we got Dan Ulrich, Tampa International Wrestling Association, 91 and 94. Steve Unterman, Baltimore, Maryland, ran Wrestling Independent Network. Tony Valadez from California, Sudden Impact Wrestling. And then we got Donnie Valentine from Texas, ran Iron Fist Wrestling in 96 and 97. Rocco Valentino ran Tulsa, Oklahoma Pro Wrestling in 97 to 2000. Kenny Valiant ran Mississippi All Pro Wrestling in 1990. Mark Vance ran Indiana Hardcore Wrestling Federation, 1997 to 1999. And then Vampiro ran in Los Angeles Wrestling Society X, 2006 and 2007. Jay Vargas ran in, Tampa, Florida, WrestleLicious, 2009 and 2010. Violent J, Detroit, Michigan, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, 1999. Yeah, the original Juggalette here. Violent A to go with Violent J. And then we got Dale Walker, ran in Tennessee on, our Championship Wrestling, 98. Mid-America Championship Wrestling. John Walter ran out of Wycox, Pennsylvania, in Northern Tier Wrestling, 2017. Doug Ward out of Stanford, Virginia, ran in Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Alliance, 93 to 95. Doug Watkins ran out of Georgia Tri-State Wrestling Alliance in 92. Wendell Weatherby ran in Massachusetts All-Star Can-Am Wrestling in 92 and 93. Bill Weaver ran out of Melbourne, Florida, Coastal Championship Wrestling, 97 to 2008. Tim Welsh ran Tennessee, United Atlantic Championship Wrestling from 95 to 98. Danny Wenkel ran North Carolina CWF Mid-Atlantic in 2000. Ray Weeby Jr. ran Minnesota from St. Paul Championship Wrestling from 1998 to 1999. Flex Wheeler ran in my building after I left. Yes, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Wrestling Alliance, 1998 to 2000. Joe Wheeler from North Carolina ran Atlantic Coast Championship Wrestling from 1997 to 2002. Dennis Whipwreck ran Baltimore, Maryland, as under Mid-Eastern Wrestling Federation, 91 to 2004, and Maryland Championship Wrestling in 2006, which I worked for both of them. Billy Wack from Chicago ran Lunatic Wrestling Federation from 93 to 2004. Mikey Whitbreck ran out of New York Wrestling Connection in 2002. Anthony White ran out of North Carolina Atlantic Championship Wrestling, Alternative Championship Wrestling, 94 to 2004. Rod Whitworth ran in Texas National Class Wrestling 1993. And then we got John Whittaker from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Wrestling Alliance, 98, 2000. Yeah, I don't know that either. Scott Wilcox, Clinton, Tennessee, Volunteer Championship Wrestling, 97 and 98. Maverick Wild, running Front Row Wrestling in 2003 to 2010. Brant Wilkin from Missouri, running Renegade Wrestling from 98 to 99. Maurice Williams in Jacksonville, Florida, running Thunder Wrestling Federation in 98. Then we got Jack Williamson from New Jersey, Mid-Atlantic States Wrestling in 1992.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, me neither. And then we got Fred Willis, New Albany, Indiana, World Wild Wrestling Action 92. Carl Wilson, Wilmington, North Carolina, Coastal Carolina Wrestling Alliance, Carolina Wrestling Federation 91 to 94. Alan Winthrow, running Arkansas Continental Wrestling Federation from 96 to 2002. Roger Withrow, Continental Wrestling Federation, same dates, 96 to 2002. Danny Wolf, running California, Hollywood Heavyweight Wrestling, 1990. Mark Wood, running Virginia, All-Star Wrestling from 92 to 93. Appalachian Championship Wrestling in 93. Tim Woody, running North Carolina Alternative Championship Wrestling from 94 to 2004. W.D. Woody, 95 to 2005, ran Virginia Ultimate Championship Wrestling. And then we have Gary
Woronchak.
All right. We'll take it. From Michigan, Midwest Territory Wrestling, 94 and 95. Bruce Wren was from Orlando, Florida, ran Southeastern Championship Wrestling from 91 to 2002. Darren Wise, who we know, 92 to 2009. Red Lion, Pennsylvania, National Championship Wrestling, 97 to 2009. John Zandig, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Combat Zone Wrestling, 1999 to 2009. Scott Zentra, 1997, 2003, and 2007, running in Michigan, Championship Wrestling in Michigan, Pro Wrestling Worldwide, 1997, 2003, and 2007. And last but not least, Rob Zakari, running California Extreme Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
So that was a long list.
It was.
Of some people we knew.
Yeah.
And some people we had no clue.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason when you got, somebody like Tom Casati. And again, not to complain, but here we are again getting left out. We ran between Outlaws of Wrestling at the Tropicana, NWA Force One, NWA Coastal, years. So what are you going to do? No big deal.
I also ran 3 other promotions other than TCW that didn't get acknowledged. So I don't feel too bad about it. At least I got a little bit. You get acknowledged as a wrestler. At least I don't. So
that's true.
People a little get.
I'm greedy sometimes.
But we have learned a lot of things about a lot of different people and a lot of different territories and promoters of wrestling. So I hope you've all enjoyed this episode of Wrestling Rewind, Wrestling Archives, and hope that you'll join us back next Sunday at 7 on YouTube, Monte and the Pharaoh's YouTube. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe and get notifications of when we're coming on and when all the other great shows on the platform are coming on. And I've had a great night here. Hope you all have yourselves. And for myself, the Virgin Princess Angel, and my co-host, the Iron Man, Tommy Cairo, have a nice night and a nice life.
See ya.
Bye.